Well, I'm on the farm today, and it's a beautiful day. It's sunny, but it's a little cool. It was really cold this morning, and I got the Farmall 350 out here with my John Deere 335 baler in tow. Moved it out of the way. I've had customers, and I've got customers coming to buy hay today, so this was the quick way to get it out of the barn. And then over here, walk over here, I got my Massey Ferguson 1105 with the Krone 2801 CV on the back, and I've got it pulled out. I've had people coming to both ends of my barn to load hay out today, and I still got customers coming, and I got another customer coming tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. But pretty much emptied out this area right in here, and then back over here. Make my way over here. And then back over here, we got rid of all the hay here and here. And so we got some left over here and here. Some second cutting here. And then just whatever's left down there. Just a little jag right over there. But hopefully we'll sell a little bit more. And before we get into the new year, I'd like to get as much revenue on the books as I can. But that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to talk about the business plan for 2023, and just kind of run down our thoughts about the hay farm this year. And every year we make a written business plan, kind of a set of goals on what we're going to do, what our plans are. We don't always stick to it, but it does lay out a plan for for the path forward. And one of the things I've been doing this year is I'm trying to sell all of our bottom bales. I want this barn completely empty hopefully when we go into the spring next year. So typically I try to keep a set of bottom bales because they keep hay. When you stack hay on bottom bales that are already there, we never ever get any mold on the new hay that goes on top of the bottom bales. And it doesn't matter if there's a tarp under this loose hay or anything else as a moisture barrier. I think what it is, these bottom bales are just dry enough to absorb whatever moisture might be coming up off of the ground. It's a very effective way to keep hay dry. But we have our reasons, which I'll go into on another video, and we want to clear all these bottom bales out of here. I want this barn empty. So that's one of our goals for 2023. I had a video up called Farmall 350 and burn piles or something like that, brush piles. So we're going to continue to work on this field, and we want to try to eradicate all of this autumn olive in here. And I want to walk down here. It's one thing to be at some distance, but this autumn olive is just unbelievable. And I used to pull it out with a chain and a tractor. And back when I had my 756 gas Farmall, I used it. It was nice because obviously when it was bitter cold and snow on the ground, it would start. So you can see as I get over in here, I mean, you can see how thick these autumn olives are. It's just unbelievable. So I've been I've been talking to a guy, and I want to give a shout out to Chris DeHaven, DeHaven Family Farms. If you're not watching his videos, you ought to. And in one of my videos, I commented about one of these attachments that fits on a skid steer, and some of them are just hydraulically driven bush hogs. But I had read that some of these things will cut down in the ground, and when they get done, you know, while there might be a stump, it's been lowered down into the ground, and so you can get a riding mower across it, from what I'm to understand. But I've talked to a guy, and I think I'm gonna have him come in sometime between now and spring. He's got a forestry mulcher. That's what Chris DeHaven said to look for, and I did. And then I saw some videos on it, and I talked to this guy, and I believe I'm gonna have him in here hopefully sooner than later. In this section of the field, I had a guy come in here, and I've actually got some video on it somewhere, but he had a backhoe and a thumb, and he was plucking the autumn olives out of the ground. And that's where this last burn pile, and there's another pile of brush on up there somewhere, that's where all that crap came from. And you know, that works, but one of the downsides of it is it pulls up a root ball, and you get a field that's really rough after it's over with. And sometimes they don't get all of the root. You got to come in here and do some things to it. But in any event, I never could get that guy to come back. And then you know, as I mentioned in my other video, we burned some of these piles, and you know, we just have to be real careful with the fire around here. And so, you know, it's hard for me to light up the woods on the other side of that road from here if I don't strike a match. So we had some trouble with one of our burn piles trying to light the field on fire, and holy smoke. So I think the best thing to do is just have somebody come in here and grind these autumn olives down to the ground, and at worst case I can manage it with a bush hog. But I think we'll probably work the field after he gets done with it, and in the fall of 2023 we may put in some Timothy, and so we'll see. I'm intrigued with Roundup Ready alfalfa, because obviously this field has a seed bed of trash that would want to come in, and Roundup Ready alfalfa would give me a means to grow a clean crop and put the kibosh on the weed population in here for several years. The downside is, even with no alfalfa in this field, the deer population, they just love to graze this field. So I think it would be devastating to the alfalfa, but I might try it. Oh, one of our goals this year in all of our fields, we're really going to lay it on heavy with the herbicide, and try to have just as clean a hay as we can get. I'm not sure that I'm going to fertilize again this year, and there are reasons for that. And there are reasons for that. And not all the income that comes off this farm, not all the revenue that comes off this farm. I mean, I don't see the point of having a farm where 100% of the revenue goes back into the farm. We need to glean income from our farming operation for other things, like college tuition for one of my kids. So I'd like to spend a pile of money on fertilizer, but I'm not sure that that's something that would pencil out as well as I'd like. The other wrinkle in that is I'm kind of an army of one now. Sometimes my kids are able to help, and I don't want a payroll. So it worked out pretty good this past year with the lower hay volume, and I was able to manage that pretty good just by myself. as I say every year, I'm going to do repairs on my hay wagons, and I do to some extent on these kicker wagons. But this year we need to build more kicker wagons. I've got the running gear. I've got enough running gears to make 8, and so I need to add to the fleet a little bit. May not build up to 8 this year, but certainly want to make any repairs we need to make to these kicker wagons. And I got one that just needs to be completely redone. And I don't want to have to unload a wagon when we start baling hay. I want to get them all. I want to get all that hay on the wagon and then pull it into the barn for me to unload later. So as I alluded to in one of my other videos, right in here there's a bunch of scrap. And I want to get all this stuff out from when this barn was built. And I want there to be a manicured barnyard. So when these hay customers come, it looks like a place that ought to be selling hay. It doesn't look like some rundown hay operation. And when you're selling horse quality hay, it inspires confidence when the customer sees a well-kept place. It adds credibility to your haying. So that's on our list. I'm down here at my 335 John Deere, and so one of the things we need to do with this thing obviously is get it going. I brought it in here in 2022, and we did not use it. The knife mechanism down here is not working as it should. Somehow I got to figure that out. I don't know that that's going to be a hard fix. I might replace these pins. I'm told that that's a maintenance thing you ought to do, else it becomes right tedious to get that pin out after so many round bales. I thought about pulling these belts and trimming them, and I still may do that to their proper length, but I think I want to run it just a little bit, even if it's just out here in the barnyard somewhere, and put a heat gun on these rollers on the bearings on each end, and just make sure I don't have a bearing heating up before I ever even go out into the field. So I think another issue with this baler I need to address. This is what causes me some concern. You see how that belt is kind of delaminated right there? It's like that on several of these belts. I kind of think they need replacing or spliced. Cut that and splice that out of it. It's probably the answer. So I'll probably do that too, but just not quite ready to go to the field right now. We need to fix that knife, make sure the bearings are good, splice out places like that in the belt if we need to. There's several things that I need to do on this baler before we commit to cutting a field of hay. And hopefully I have that knocked out between now and spring. And I might roll out some hay out here. I may just leave a windrow or two in the field and and try to bale with it. But I'm told the 335 John Deere baler is an excellent baler. It's hydraulic tie. There's no monitor for this thing. It's all manual, and I understand all that. But round bales for cattle, in my view, are just a great thing. But in our area, other people may be different, but in our area, there are just so many round bales, it's hard to command a very high price. And I really don't see how you lime and fertilize and make round bales. It just seems to me you're going to mine out your fields. And if that's the case, you know, you probably, if it's a lose money adventure or a break even deal, my opinion is you're better off just to bush hog it. So getting the 335 John Deere baler is high on our list. Getting that thing going. Oh, one thing I want to do on this sprayer here is we're going to do a refurb on it, and I'm not sure that I want to use these 40-foot booms. I'm not. I just feel like as our terrain does like this and like that, those things are going to dig into the ground, and I don't really get a warm fuzzy that you know, when they're mounted up here in the front, that they're all that high off the ground, or there's no ability to kind of field adjust. I mean, they're adjustable up and down to some extent, but I would really prefer to have the booms on the back. And I don't know if I'm going to cut these booms. If I do, I'll do it in such a way that I can put them back together for 40 feet. But my 50-gallon sprayer I got, it's got 20-foot booms, and it's just ideal for spraying up here with the terrain like we got. The problem is it's 50 gallons, so we spend as much time filling it up as we do spraying. So this is a 500-gallon sprayer. I don't know that I'd put 500 gallons in it, but you know, just being able to get to 200 or 300 gallons would be a massive improvement as far as just being able to stay out in the field. This thing's got a hydraulic pump on it. And, you know, I've been told hydraulically driven pump, and I've been told this is the cat's meow. No drivetrain, no U-joints. You go into a turn, it doesn't matter how tight, you're good to go. However, I believe it requires a closed center hydraulic system, which the Big Massey over there's got. And of course, the Big Massey's got the mass to kind of hold this thing when we get on some of our hills. But I'm debating whether or not to mount a PTO driven pump on here, and then I can use it. You hear those gunshots? We're not under attack. That's my brother target shooting. So I hope he's not pointing it in this direction. Anyway, but I've got a good PTO driven pump for my 50-gallon sprayer and 20-foot booms. It's got plenty of flow for that. I may put it on here because there may be times I want to run this thing with my John Deere. There may be times I want to put it on my Farmall with maybe 100 gallons in it for working around some of these smaller fields. And I don't know that I always need to have the Big Massey on this sprayer. Certainly when we get up on the hill, that's a must. So I'm kind of weighing my options on that. This thing has got a nozzle. I believe this is the nozzle where you can spray on stuff, you know, like that. I'm gonna get rid of all of that, and depending on the condition of some of these hoses, I may replace them. Obviously, these hydraulic hoses need replaced. This tank needs to be pushed back that way just a little bit, and this edge of the tank needs to come off of this body right here. I don't want it rubbing a hole in the tank, but the tank itself appears to be in excellent shape to be as old as it is, and it is a fiberglass tank. It's not a poly tank. So doing a refurb on this sprayer is high on the priority list 2023. I don't know if I'll get to it, but the 56 New Holland has got some gearbox issues. I don't know that it's severe, but so I need to get into this gearbox, and this would be an ideal rake with my Farmall 350, a narrow front and a dolly wheel. I mean, I could turn on a dime with this thing. So it's kind of on our list, but it's not. I mean, we have other rakes that we can use, but I like it. I especially like this rake in that you can hook it up and unhook it in a minute. And the 3-point rakes, you know, obviously they take a little longer. You got to take something off, put something back on. But one of the things we've done is we've added tractors to our fleet so that we can pretty much have one tractor on the implements that we're going to use all summer long, if that's what we want to do. And then obviously this is going to become a kicker wagon, and probably my P. Buckley moss wagon out there, it'll become a kicker wagon too. We'll continue to use the Hesston 1110. My New Holland Tedder out there, right, it's over there, right there. It needs some gearbox work, so I don't think we'll be doing anything to it at this point. It's just kind of parked out there out of the way for right now. I don't know that I'll do anything with my New Holland 68 baler. It might be in scrap metal territory. The plunger on that thing's stuck, and I don't know, that thing's pretty weathered and neglected. But who knows, if I have time I might tinker with it some. All of these old equipment, like the New Holland Tedder out there, and this baler, and that New Holland rake, you know, I'm not objectionable to tearing them apart and trying to fix them. I kind of look at them, I think I've said this before, I kind of look at them as good books sitting on a shelf with chapters that have yet to be read. So it doesn't cost me anything to have these inoperative pieces of equipment laying around here. So, you know, it's my hay deal, I'll do what I want. So that's kind of the business plan video for 2023. And again, you know, we try to follow it to some extent, but it's not written in stone, and we'll add to it. And a lot of times we have lofty goals and we never achieve those, but sometimes we do. And it's just good to have a roadmap written down so you can conduct your hay operation with some semblance of you know, order and planning, so that, you know, you're using your time and money really as effectively as you can. So that's where I'm gonna kind of leave it. So hope everybody has a good 2023, and we're past December 21st, obviously, so a little more daylight every day. I'm glad to see that, and so anxious to get started for 2023. Subscribe, comment, and we'll talk to you later.